Gross domestic product. This variable tells you in one number how a country is doing and tells you more about the country's economy than any other variable. But how does it work and what exactly is it for? Find out in this short video. And if you stay to the end, you'll learn how you can use your knowledge of GDP to your advantage. So sit back and let's get started. Number 1. What is GDP? Gross domestic product is an economic indicator, and by definition it is the total monetary value of all goods and services that have been produced within the borders of a given country over a given period, usually a year. That is, it adds up the value of all the goods and services produced within a state in a year. It is therefore always a large number. GDP is usually calculated in a country's national currency and includes the output of all individuals and companies in that country, whether they are domestic or foreign. Number 2. How does GDP work? GDP decreases and increases depending on the economic activity in a country. A rise in GDP usually means that more goods and services are produced in a country, which may be the result of increased consumption, investment, or an increase in net exports. Conversely, a fall in GDP usually means that less goods and services are produced in a country, which may be the result of reduced consumption, a fall in investment, or a reduction in net exports. This decline may signal economic problems such as a recession or an economic crisis. GDP can be measured in 3 ways. The first is the production method, which adds up the value of goods and services produced. The other is the expenditure method, which adds up total consumption expenditure, investment, government spending, and net exports. And the last is the income method, which adds up total income, i.e. wages, annuities, interest, and profits. The expenditure method is the most commonly used because it provides a snapshot of aggregate demand in the economy and, more importantly, the data needed for its calculation are more readily available than those for other methods. If you want to calculate the expenditure method, there is a formula. It is GDP equals C plus I plus G plus X minus M. C is consumption, which is household spending on consumer goods and services. I is investment, which is spending on capital goods such as buildings, machinery, and equipment. G is government spending, which is government spending on goods and services that do not directly support consumption or investment but are important to the public sector. X is exports, which is the value of goods and services exported abroad. M is imports, which is the value of goods and services imported from abroad. If you use this formula, you will get the value of GDP. Number 3. Use of GDP. It is used as an indicator of economic performance and standard of living in a country. A higher GDP usually indicates a higher level of economic activity and wealth. However, GDP alone may not always reflect a country's true development or wealth, as it does not take into account factors such as income inequality, the environment, quality of life, or the informal economy. Therefore, other indicators such as GDP per capita, the Human Development Index, and the Gini coefficient are often used. GDP per capita is calculated as GDP divided by population. GDP is also part of the Human Development Index, which shows how a country develops from year to year. The Gini coefficient is very interesting and basically measures how wealth is distributed among the population. Number 4. How you can use it to your advantage. It may seem that GDP is useless to us ordinary people, but that's not quite the case. You can use it in your everyday life and in business. If you are an entrepreneur and you ever want to expand your business to other countries, it is a good idea to find out how their economic growth, i.e. GDP, is. A country where GDP is declining in the long term is probably not the best one for a company trying to break through. Conversely, a state where the economy is growing over the long term can be a great place with lots of business opportunities. In normal life, you use GDP when investing. For example, if you are analyzing a stock to see if it is a good stock to buy, GDP can be useful in seeing if the economy in the states where the company operates is growing and there is room to increase sales. Selecting a stock to buy, for example, of a company that operates in only one state where GDP is declining is not the best idea. That's one example of using GDP to our advantage. Investing is very useful in my opinion, and I think it is a good idea to educate yourself in it. If you want me to do one whole video on investing, let me know in the comments, and if a few people write in, I'll do a video. Overall, gross domestic product is a very interesting topic. On my channel you will find other similar videos explaining economic concepts like inflation and deflation or interesting topics to help you use financial literacy to your advantage. If you liked the video and learned something new, please give a like, and if you don't want to miss out on more videos like this, subscribe. If you have any questions, write in the comments. Thanks for watching and see you next time.